Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another day of knitting for the February Knitting Challenge for Cancer Awareness. Thank you for joining me. I'm Catherine from Cat's Craft Corner. I will be knitting my sock for Sock Madness. So I do have one finished already. And this is the newspaper sock. And it is by, for some reason, I feel like her username is like Space Cow, but let me actually find out what her actual name is. So her actual name in the is I'm going to say this wrong, and I'm really sorry. Shui Wu, Shui or Susie Wu. But it's the newspaper sock. Yeah, so that's the newspaper sock. This is for the qualifying round for the Sock Madness. Yeah. So I'm excited to be knitting that up. I'm past the halfway mark in my second one. I'm just finishing up the decrease of the heel. So yeah, good times. And then before I close the toe, I'm going to have to do the crochet surface crocheting along the lines. But yeah, should be a good time. Okay, so where am I? There's yarn. There's more yarn. Also, I know I haven't posted any weekly podcasts this month. It's because the daily half-hour knitting sessions for the Canadian Cancer Society is taking up a lot of my time. And I feel like a lot of the things that I would share in the weekly podcast, I've shared quite a bit of it here. But I'll still do like an end of month recap just to make sure that. Am I missing a knitting needle? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I am missing a knitting needle. Great. Oh, there it is. Found it. We're all good. I'll probably do like a recap of the month as the first weekly podcast back in March. In March, in the beginning of March. So yeah, I apologize for the no weekly podcasts, but the daily knitting definitely takes up a lot of my video capacity and my capacity to talk to myself. But yeah, there will be podcasts coming up soon. But thank you for joining me and thanks for tagging along. I know the daily knitting is kind of unorthodox, but I appreciate it. So I'm just gonna have some quiet knitting this morning. I do have an interview with a Durham College student today about the shop and about knitting and crocheting as a craft. So I am a little nervous about that. So I'm not sure how the rest of you feel about holding your yarn for color work, but I hold mine kind of like this. So the yarn twists under my finger for that way, and then I wrap them differently through my fingers. I just find that I'm able to keep tension more even, and my floats don't get too tight that way. So I really enjoy holding my yarn that way. But yeah, you could hold one continental, one English, however you're doing your color work. That's completely up to you. But I am a fan of, I forget, I think someone called it the Norwegian style, where one finger comes over top and the one comes under and over. And I really enjoy it. It seems to work for me. When I do use 3 colors instead of just 2, I do use my third color in English. I feel like there's got to be a different term for English style knitting, like, I don't know, traditional. Like, I don't know why we have like these weird terms. But I'm sure there's a reason why, and there's a history behind it. Because oddly, terminology within crafting is a thing, and there are terminologies that have faded over the years, which is unfortunate considering that the terminology dictates the type of craft and the craft style. And so when that terminology disappears, essentially the craft has disappeared. So it is unfortunate in that regard that the terminology of craft can indicate if a craft has basically fallen off. There is an individual, I forget her name, but she does a podcast called the Yarn Library or Library Yarn podcast with a British dude who's pretty, I think he's British anyways, who's pretty cool. Adam something. I'm failing at names today. But she actually, I believe, is doing a graduate study on art terminology, or that's a component of her grad study. And it's quite fascinating to hear her discuss kind of her viewpoints on why it matters. So, yeah. Adam Cleevely, I believe is his name, Adam Cleevely. He has a podcast with her. I don't remember her name. And it's quite fascinating. So if you're looking for something to check out, definitely give that a look-see. So there are several things that are going on in the shop that I need to tackle. One are my taxes. So that's an ongoing process. I have to get my bookkeeping fully in order before I can actually begin my taxes. And there's certain things in my bookkeeping that I have to add that I didn't think I would have to add. That seemed to be a component of being a business owner now. So such things as like using the my office and my study as workspace and factoring that in for my taxes. Even my gasoline and kilometers for going to conferences and festivals, I need to consider. And it's all very new to me. So I have to tackle that this week. Actually, probably in the next day or two. I need to get that completed. And then I have to make up the manual for my mom for when she takes care of the shop. And then I have to essentially prepare for another crochet class, which have been selling really well, which I'm thrilled about. Everyone seems to be wanting to get into crocheting, which is excellent. Most crafts are good crafts, except for black magic. Don't do it. If you're gonna summon demons, at least summon friendly ones. But yeah, and I have to update my yearly business plan. So, as much as it's a thing that you think you only need in the beginning when you're trying to launch your company, it's actually a really useful evergreen document for keeping yourself on track, setting new goals, reflecting on previous performance, and it can just help put into perspective whether or not you're on track for whatever your 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan is or goals. So that'll be fun to go through. It also requires some critical thinking. So my brain's probably going to be hurting, but that's okay. It's all for good things. All good things. But yeah. Exciting things, even though they're tedious and more paperwork forward. They're all good things. Yeah, and then hopefully I'll be able to get my ducks in a row for some additional workshops of guest instructors. So, fingers crossed I can get my ducks in a row. We do have our March break camp registration open, so that's good. Yeah. All right, I'm just going to do some quiet knitting now. Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess I should give you an update on Zeus. He is walking better. No limp, but we're going to give it one more day before we take him on any strenuous walks. So no 4K walks for him today. Maybe later in the week. Also, I hope everyone stayed warm, dry, and safe yesterday. It was an interesting snowstorm for sure. Snowstorm / ice storm. Hello, how's it going? Unfortunately, I'm just about to sign off, so thank you for joining, but I'm actually signing off. Sorry to have missed you, but thank you for joining. Have a great day. Bye.